Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the new episode of X Vlog Live. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. And today, folks, I am unbelievably excited. You can see the big cheese smile on my face. I got a chance to sit down with Randall Thier, the man with a million, one of the first people that I listened to on YouTube well before I was an actual content creator. He's here today. He's feeling much better. Rand, bro, thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Boom. It's going to be fun to talk about, all the things that you have, your little topics that you sent me today to, talk about in this short 1 hour, 15-minute podcast that me and you are going to do. One-on-one, two people. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know what, you get a chance. So you're used to the format because you work with Jez, who was on last week, and it was great to sit down and talk with him and get his his feelings on Xbox. But you know what, as we kind of wait for people to kind of file in over here, what have you been playing? What's been taking up most of your time?
Oh man, what's taking up most of my time is the game that you're showing off on screen is Elden Ring. And to be honest with you, I didn't think. I mean, I knew I was going to try it out. I ended up getting a code from Xbox.
Oh, nice,
Um,
dude.
yeah, and I'm not the biggest Souls guy, right?
Me
Which is
either.
weird to say because I quite enjoyed Bloodborne, but I didn't like Dark Souls 1 at
But you
all,
love
really.
Sekiro, though.
I love Sekiro. It was my game of the year 2019, but so I kept on asking people like Jez, like Miles, and a few other people I knew that were reviewing the game, like, am I going to like this game? Like, I love Sekiro, but I'm not the biggest Souls person. And they're like,
Right.
nah, I don't know, man. Like, this is pretty much Dark Souls 4 open world. And I'm like, all right. So I got it. And when I started playing it, something just clicked with me. I don't know. I think it's the open world. Um, where I felt like maybe too stifled from Dark Souls 1, where it was more linear.
Mm.
But I tell you what, I every single night I get on and I just roam through the world. Last night I ended up in this place called the Eternal City, like underneath everything, and I was just my jaw hit the floor because of how beautiful and unexpected this place was. And I spent like I had a plan, like, okay, I'm gonna go, the place in the far right of the map that's all like red and stuff.
Yes.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna explore this today. And I ended up spending like 2.5 hours underneath the world in this eternal city. And I was like, well, there goes my whole night. I ended up like spending all this time just exploring this place that I didn't even know existed. You know what I mean? So I am having a blast playing Elden Ring.
Yeah, you know what? Look, anyone. First of all, shout out to Def Leppard. First of all, I love the name because I'm an '80s dude. He says, "Rand, he's sick and tired of hearing how great Elden Ring." Oh well. Look, we're not going to spend a whole hour talking about Elden Ring, but listen, I do have to declare, like anyone that has followed me since I came on the scene knows that I don't normally have the patience for these kind of games. The brutal and punch in your face brutality that comes with a Souls game is something that a lot of people really dig. And I hear you if you are one of those folks. That's awesome. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not a Souls guy. Um, but I gotta tell you, I bought the game like you ran. I didn't know if I was going to enjoy it. People kept saying, "Well, it's Breath of the Wild meets Dark Souls." It's not that. It's literally Dark Souls. Um, but one of the most interesting parts, Rand, and I don't know if you feel this way. If you come up against a brick wall, and that is going to happen more often than not, you can go back the other way and just, hey, I'm going to level up. I'm going to farm. I'm going to kill some regular, because at some point you're going to feel confident when the guards with shields used to destroy me. Now I'm chasing after them. The bats you saw me just fight right now, the first time I fought them, I got killed. Now I'm running after them. Some of those big trolls, I actually took a big troll down before. I was running for dear life. So it's a progression. I'm like you, 25 hours in. I just hit level 26. I can't stop playing it, Rand. I just think that it is Is it the greatest game in the history of games? Probably not. But the game,
definitely not. I wouldn't say it's the greatest
I
game
mean,
of.
listen, look at the palette of colors, right? It's very green, it's very gray, very brown, right? Like it's Dark Souls colors. That's what it is. But I do have some stats that I want to talk about that I thought are really interesting to the conversation that we're going to go into. As of this show, according to Steam Spy, which is which tracks how many people are playing a particular game. Well, according to Steam Spy, and this was as of February 25th, 2022, 5 million copies have been sold globally on PC alone. Now, we got some new information that comes to us from GSD market data. According to Elden Ring's UK launch, apparently not only both physical and digital were insane, but it's the biggest game launch outside of FIFA and Call of Duty since Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2019.
It's pretty insane considering the Dark Souls games and Sekiro were very much more muted in terms of. I mean, they sold well enough, right? But you don't get this type. Something was different about this game, and I don't know what it is. This game basically is selling. I don't even know how to describe
Dude,
it.
it's
Really,
gonna be. They could sell 10 million copies in the first month, bro.
Yeah, which is weird because like I think Dark Souls 3 sold like maybe 3 million, maybe close to 5 million total. And like Sekiro was like I think topped out at like 100K concurrent on Steam, and this is doing like close to 900,000.
Yeah.
It's funny because I don't know if you know who Christopher Dring is.
Yes, I do know who Christopher is. Yes, as a matter of fact, I do.
So it's interesting because a lot of PlayStation fans use Christopher Dring as ammo for the console war because he posts UK physical sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that knows anything knows that physical is a dying format. Unfortunately, it's kind of the way it is. I know people love their physical games so they can own them and resell them, but the fact of the fact of the matter is that physical is on its way out. Digital is predominant, right?
Yep.
So he posted a few days ago that the sales split was 80% PlayStation and 20% Xbox, right? Of course, leading to a bunch of PlayStation guys to be like, this is further proof that Xbox gamers don't buy any games. Look at this, 80% to 20%, right? That's insane. Xbox users don't buy games. And it's just like, we've had this discussion over and over again about the validity of a UK physical only sales chart. Like, people will take these numbers and they'll shout it from the rooftops and be like, look how amazing PlayStation's doing and look how horrible Xbox is. But it's like, yo, you're talking about physical only sales in the UK, which is a small region with a dying format, right?
Correct. Yep.
So then a few days later, he'll post the digital sales, but nobody really retweets them or spreads them as like big news because Xbox actually sells more digital share than PlayStation does. Xbox is much more of a digital console. So he posted the digital sales today. We were talking about having like this biggest like sales in the UK or whatever since like FIFA and Red Dead Redemption, right?
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly the sales split goes from 40% PlayStation to it goes from 80% PlayStation to 40% PlayStation, and Xbox goes from like 20% to like 30%, with PC taking up the other 30%, and Xbox actually selling 85% digital.
Wow.
85% of copies sold in the UK were digital, and then had like a higher split, or I don't know if they had the PC split, but it just goes to show you that when it comes to Xbox, never take physical only charts seriously, because Xbox is essentially a digital platform. So I thought that was pretty interesting because I don't know about you, Boom. I always get tagged in stupid threads on Twitter. I ignore them, I mute them or whatever. And people will tag me and be like, Rand, Xbox gamers don't buy games. Look at this. It's 80% on PlayStation and 20% on Xbox. And I'm just like, just wait for the digital numbers. And sure enough, when the digital numbers come out and the
It's more
split is
reasonable.
much closer,
Yeah.
those same people are nowhere to be found. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But hey, congrats to From Software. This is going to be their magnum opus, right?
Oh, for sure.
97 Metacritic, which is way higher than any of their other games. I think 90, 91 was kind of where they had before. And then they get the sales to go along with it, right?
Yeah.
This game is going to probably sell more than most exclusives.
100%. Yeah.
You got and this is why, you mentioned 5 million sales on PC month one.
Mm-hmm.
That's why everybody's doing PC sales day one. That's why Microsoft has been on PC since 2016. This is why PlayStation is, viewing PC as more of an integral part of their strategy moving forward. Because when you have a launch like this, 5 million sales is a ton of money, especially for a platform that is mostly physical, right? So you don't need to really pay the middlemen of like the Best Buys and Amazons of the world. So
right to the people.
Yeah, right to the people. So it's congrats to From Software. So they got a big hit. It's going to be Game of the Year, Boom.
Oh,
it's going to be Game of the Year for sure.
It's listen, at this point, and you know what, we have to talk about the bad luck for SIE for PlayStation. We have quite a bit to cover here. The first Horizon for Zero Dawn, which was one of my favorite new IPs. Anyone that has followed me knows that I've been talking up Aloy for years. I love her as a character, and I love her even more now. I just am not playing the game because the bugs really bother me. The hitboxes for climbing are egregious. And I don't know when they're going to fix it, but I'll get around to finishing it. I got about 8 or 9 hours into it. I was so frustrated by jumping off and dying all the time that I was like, you know what? Let me try this Elden Ring thing. And it turns out, well, Elden Ring has literally stolen my soul. But the bad luck for SIE is that now they're going up against this what a lot of people are calling a masterpiece, right? This is taking up most of the conversation. Elden Ring is trending pretty much every day, right? And they just released Horizon Forbidden West, which, graphically, it's a gorgeous game. The game looks beautiful. I love the evolvement of Aloy as a character. She's really grown. You can see it. Then, of course, you have this week releasing Gran Turismo 7, which is sitting at an 88 Metacritic right now. And that's awesome. I mean, you really can't argue that. That's a great score. But what I want to talk about, and I want to come back around to the Xbox aspect on whether or not they actually need their own, Elden Ring or Sekiro for Xbox Game Pass, meaning they should drop the bag. I want to talk, Rand, specifically about the cult of PlayStation and whether or not that actually exists. You made some mention to every day when you look at your feed, you're always tagged in ridiculousness, and that happens to me as well. I've learned that the mute and block button are your best friends, we always see, you see the Xbox doesn't sell, and everyone seems to come out of the woodwork for PlayStation. Now, we know how the community is. Social media is what social media is, and you're always going to have your knuckleheads, you're going to have your trolls, you're going to have your real hateful people. But when I say the cult of PlayStation, I want to talk about the overall bigger picture here. Let's just take, for instance, cloud saves for PlayStation, right? If you are a PlayStation 4 or 5 owner, in order for you to have cloud saves, you must have PlayStation Plus. I think that is egregious, though people defend it. When they release a game that's upgraded in graphics for the PlayStation 5, they're charging you $10. And Microsoft says, here, it's free. Go crazy. Wherever you play, you get the best version. Thanks for being a customer. I find that to be egregious. People defend it. This new PlayStation Infinity that's coming out. Now, again, it's not confirmed by Sony, but it's Jeff Grubb, who I consider to be an incredible source in the industry, came out, put out this stat. This is what it's going to be. I called it PlayStation trash, because really what they're doing is selling you the same thing that's already out, and they've increased the value because based on what we know, there isn't a year option. It's bi-monthly. So if it's bi-monthly, you're paying $10 for the lowest tier, which is $10, right? Well, I'm not a mathematician, Rand, you pay $10 times 12 months, $120. The same group of people, including us, who came out and pointed the finger at Microsoft, said, how dare you try to raise gold to 120, are defending this. No, it's okay. It's a great service. We get to play old games. So my question to you, simple. And again, this is very opinionated, so folks, take it with a grain of salt. Is there a cult of PlayStation that with Sony being that the market leader they are, they literally can't do any wrong, and even people within the industry defend this? Like when Microsoft does something, Rand, you, who I absolutely love, you come right out to the forefront and you say, Phil, to the camera, this isn't right. We got to fix this. That's not the case with PlayStation. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I feel like in any sort of fandom, whether it's video games or just in general sports, there's always going to be a toxic side of fandom. So yeah, there is a cult of PlayStation, very much like there is a cult of Xbox and a cult of Nintendo, and cult of Marvel and cult of DC. Like, it just kind of is the way it is when you have these sort of things. There are always going to be people, no matter the platform, that always defend whatever PlayStation or Xbox are doing. Like when Xbox raised the price, or when they were trying to raise the price of Xbox Live Gold, there were some fans who were like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. We'll pay whatever it is. So yeah, there is a cult of PlayStation, but I think there's just fandom in general. There's always going to be pockets of individuals who basically a loud minority of people on social media, because let's be honest, there's not that many of them, but they're very loud because they'll say, it's just, I don't know if it's like a significant number of them, but there's definitely people out there that think PlayStation can do no wrong, that PlayStation makes the best games imaginable, that a review site like Survivor, they're happy that Survivor gets blocked, or who knows, like the real story behind what's going on there, because like they dare give Horizon Forbidden West a low review. Like, there will be people out there to celebrate it because they think, PlayStation games should all be 90 plus Metacritic and stuff like that. It's not exclusive to PlayStation, because I definitely know some Xbox fans who are like that.
Sure, 100%.
Like when you when I've criticized Xbox in the past, like when me and Jez talk about Xbox and Xbox 2, we try to normally be as positive as possible, unless something is really egregious where we have to criticize. So
correct.
And we've also gotten a lot of people think that we're too harsh on Xbox, that we don't praise them enough. But it's not my job to essentially do Microsoft's marketing for them and praise them to the moon. Like, I like a lot of the things they're doing right now. I think they're on the right path.
Yep.
It's exactly what I wanted from Phil and everybody else. Like, buy more studios, make better games. That's all I really cared about. But there are definitely some things that Xbox does that, I've criticized them about. And then I'll hear from people being like, Rand's not a true Xbox guy or whatever, like, which is absurd to,
you only have 1 million gamer score, but no.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, but like, that's the thing is some people only want to hear the best things about the brand that they love. They don't want to hear any negativity. They don't want to hear any constructive criticism. It's just the best. So yeah, there are definitely people. The cult of PlayStation exists, right? And it's probably bigger than the cult of Xbox, simply because PlayStation is a bigger brand. So there's more fans. So percentage of people who are going to be toxic is larger. But that goes for Nintendo and that goes for everything. There's just it's just the way it is, man. You just get online and you just see some of these people that console war all day, every day on
Instead of playing
Twitter
games, mind
and
you.
stuff. It's just it's annoying, but it is I don't know. Like, I think it's sort of childish. It's like
100%, dude. Absolutely. You know what is, Rand? I do want to touch on something because you mentioned it. I have it in the notes. The Survivor incident that a lot of people may or may not know. They're a review site, and they have done some really big reviews, and they have done reviews that a lot of people did not like. And the review in question, and why Gran Turismo is become a bit of a hiccup for them, is that they gave Horizon Forbidden West a 6.5 out of 10, and that sent the interwebs on fire. You saw a lot of the big Sony, the larger Sony presence in social media screaming foul. Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't agree all with the review. I would not review it at a 6.5. For me, it's an 8.5. I wish I could have liked it more, but I'm only, again, folks, only 8.5 hours, 9 hours into it. I stopped playing it because the bugs are a real problem. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, why did Elden Ring get a 10? Because, they're bugs. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I'm 10 hours in. I'm 25 hours in. I have not. I found one bug. That where I had to, I went to get on my horse and I was floating in the air, so I had to warp into, a save point. That's it. That is the only bug I have that I have come across. Anytime I've died isn't because the game is buggy. It's because I suck. So that's that. But they put out on the socials, Rand, that they were no longer going to be apparently given review copies for Sony games. And it started with, of course, Gran Turismo 7, which currently has 85 reviews. And if they're going to review it for their site, which I imagine they are, they're going to have to go out and buy the game. So now this leads me to the question, and I've had this question with many people in the community, a lot of people on my panels. It does seem that when you don't follow the rules with SIE, you do suffer the consequences of not being a part of the conversation when it comes to reviewing their stuff. Now, again, you said something very interesting. We don't know the actual details, and you are absolutely correct. All we know is what Survivor put out there. But again, that leads me to the question, we know there's a cult of PlayStation. We know that it's a much larger cult than both Nintendo and Xbox, simply because of the number of fans there are compared to the other. But this leads me to believe that, and we've seen this, you never see an IGN or GameSpot or a Kotaku put out a negative article on PlayStation. You just don't. A perfect example is no one is mentioning, and none of the big sites have even potentially hinted at at $120 a year being the standard normal now. Because again, Sony hasn't come out and said, hey, this is what it is. We don't know that there's a $60 a year option because it's not on that list that was leaked. And I believe that list to be very, very true, because this is the first time I've seen that list. I saw it a month before it was leaked. And I was like, well, if this is what it is, and I hope it's not, it's garbage, because I've been calling for a Game Pass-esque service for PlayStation, because I don't want to pay right now here in New York, Rand. If I want to go buy a PlayStation game at my local GameStop, which I love, $76.43 with tax. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Not for, and I'm not saying one and done games. I would love to play Gran Turismo. I don't want to pay for Gran Turismo, and I certainly don't want anyone buying it for me. Don't waste your money. Because I like the game, I like the franchise, but I don't like it that much. So that leads me to believe that, I mean, in your opinion, you've been doing this for a very long time. You have almost at 100,000, which I can't wait for you to get. Not because I want to see you at 100K and I want you to show off that plaque. I want to see you on camera. And I know that's the deal that you made, brother. 100K gets you on camera.
Yeah. Well, we'll never get there, so
Oh, come on! Are you kidding me, dude?
Well, I mean, I need to make videos to get subscribers, and I haven't made a video in like a couple weeks. But
dude, listen, you weren't feeling well. You did a great podcast.
There's nothing really I really want to discuss. But okay, let's take what you're saying. Like, I'll talk about the PlayStation Spartacus thing.
Right.
I would agree with you that if they got rid of an annual, like the 60, like, because right now PlayStation Plus is $10 a month if you're paying for it monthly. Correct. It is $120 a year.
Yes,
but there is still the $60 option for annual. And hell, like I think I bought mine on CD Keys.
$33. I bought
2 years for like $60 or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
But just kind of like with what Xbox was doing with the Games with Gold thing last year, they were like going to get rid of the $60 annual thing, and it was just going to be $10 a month, like whatever. And we all pushed back. We're all like, no, this is stupid. So
right.
I'll take a wait and see approach because Sony hasn't officially even talked about it.
Correct.
We don't know the tier pricing and stuff. It very well could be exactly what it is now, and it's still $60 or whatever. So we'll have to wait and see. If suddenly there is no $60 option and PS Spartacus is minimum $10 a month for $120 a year for the same thing, yeah, I would imagine most people would bitch about it. But the whole Survivor thing is interesting because I get review copies from Xbox, right?
Yeah.
And they've always pretty much been like, give us your honest opinion. You like the game, tell us what you like about it. Tell us what you think is wrong. Just be honest. And that's what I've always kind of strived to be. I like you, Grant.
I've gotten like I was blessed enough to be able to review Forza Horizon 5. Like that's the first big game I've ever reviewed. Oh, that's actually not true. I got a chance to review Gears 5. So those are my two big ones, but please continue.
So as long as I give I'm not lying about something or I'm not attacking anybody, right? Because that's another big thing is like, just, tell us your thoughts. You liked it, disliked it. And, I gave like Halo Infinite like an 8.5. I loved it. I felt there were some things wrong with the storytelling towards the end. I adored Forza Horizon 5. I really like Psychonauts 2. So I've given this past year a lot of high marks to Xbox games. But, in 2019, I gave Crackdown 3 like a 6. I thought Crackdown 3 was a horrible game. And I gave my reasons why, but I didn't like use words
you didn't go out of your way to be
I was just like, I felt it was boring and stuff. Yeah. So I would like the whole Survivor thing. If Survivor was getting codes from PlayStation and they had that relationship like I do with Xbox or like Dealer or Colt does or anybody else that has that relationship, and you're honestly giving your opinion and you don't think that game is good, or, like consensus comes out and, like you're on the low end and then suddenly they take the review access away and they blacklist you. I think that is kind of screwed up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's egregious. 100%.
Yeah, if Xbox were like, if Redfall comes out at the end of the year and I get an early code and I just don't think Redfall is very good and I give it like a 7 or like a 6, but everybody else thinks it's an 8, I'm not going to I'm not going to be worried about, well, Xbox is going to cut my access off. But let's imagine if they did. I'd be like, well, that's kind of bull, because I'm giving you've only thing you've said is, hey, tell your viewers you got a code from us and be honest about it. So as long as I'm honest about what I think and I'm not like attacking developers or attacking Xbox or attacking Phil Spencer, then I feel it's like, okay. But then again, I say that, but Xbox and PlayStation reserve the right to give codes, early codes, to whoever they want to give it to. So if they don't want to give it to Survivor any longer, then that's their prerogative. It does look bad, though, if you've been giving them codes in the past and they've rated some games very highly, like Ratchet and Clank, I think they gave a 9.5, and Last of Us 2, they gave like a 10. It's not like they've completely, every single PlayStation exclusive comes out and they give it a 5. They have rated, Spider-Man's Miles Morales like a 9 point. They've rated games very highly, but like if suddenly for no reason whatsoever you rate Horizon low and they don't give you a code for Gran Turismo and the official PlayStation Australia accounts like, yeah, we're no longer going to be giving you codes, that is a bit weird. That is, it almost feels,
it raises questions, dude. It really does.
It does, and we don't normally see outlets get blacklisted. I think Kotaku was blacklisted by Bethesda, but I think that was for more leaking stuff than it was for like talking about
was
their
a leak
games.
thing, not so much a review thing.
Yeah, you don't really see, and you know what, Survivor, let's be honest with you, like they're not IGN, they're not GameSpot, they're not like the big outlets where if Sony were to blacklist IGN, you'd know about it.
Yeah.
Right? Survivor is just some small website from Australia that a lot of PlayStation fans have had it out for recently because, Horizon, they gave us 6.5. So a lot of PlayStation fans, that cult of PlayStation we talked about, right?
Yep.
They go after any sort of people that feel differently. Like, well, it's good that they got their review access denied because how dare you review Horizon and give it a 6 or whatever. So, I guess it really depends on the whole situation. Like, was Sony giving them access and then suddenly they didn't like the review because somebody at Guerrilla didn't like getting a 6 and they went to PlayStation PR and PlayStation PR is like, yeah, you're no longer getting review copies from us. I think that's a little bit shady because as long as you're giving your honest to God, true opinion and you're not really attacking developers.
I read the
whatever.
review. They didn't attack anyone. They just said there was a lot of what the reviewer said was there were a lot of things that were not advanced. They actually went out and compared it to Doom 2016, and it said when we reviewed Doom Eternal, they did X, Y, and Z much better, so they evolved it. Whereas they're saying that Horizon was very samey, especially like in the stealth. I happen to like it, to be honest with you. That's I like that, but I mean, listen, it's a great point, Rand. I'm glad that we had took 10, 15 minutes to talk about it because it is shady. If in fact that is the case, it makes you wonder that if you don't fall in line for SIE, then you get the short end of the stick, which is kind of crummy because that means that you have to give a good review even if you don't feel that the game deserves it. And if that in fact is the case, then I wouldn't be. Me personally, I wouldn't want to do reviews for Sony because then I can't be honest. But you know what? What I want to kind of bring this back around, and before I do, I got to catch up some of the super chats. We have some really good ones. Chaos Mike drops the first one of the day, Brand, and he says, "Rand Al, the man with 1 million interviews." Yeah, you've been making the rounds yourself, so I appreciate it being here. Drawn TJ drops a very generous $2, and the first one of Chaos Mike was $5. He says, "I wish they made it easier to join friends." You're talking about for Elden Ring, yeah, me too. I there's some things I just need help with, and I'm going to reach out to a couple people. I'm going to use my dead fingers that I found and see. That's the one thing. This game does not hold your hand. Talk to people. Talk to your friends. Maybe they know something because there's a lot of stuff I don't know. I found items, Rand. I'm like, what the F do I do with this? I have no idea. But I eventually figure it out. Outbreak Podcast. Web Dave, who is now an official panel member for Breakfast with Boom. He's making his first appearance tomorrow morning. Drops an outstanding $2 super chat, Rand, and says, "Boom, great guest, the legend, Rand Althor, 19, the man with 1 million." Indeed, and yes, I'm very happy to have him here. It's really great to to hang out with you for the hour and change. We also had a big bomb come in from Kirby Louise, who drops an outstanding $20 super chat. It says, "Just a reminder, NVIDIA tried the same blacklisting tactic in 2020, but ended up reversing course after a huge backlash. If this isn't proof that Nintendo/Xbox/ AMD, NVIDIA, BAD, and PlayStation, bad, PlayStation good, then what is?" Yeah, I mean, look, folks, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. For me personally, what I'm not a person of the press. Like I'm just a podcaster. I'm a content creator. Um, I don't have anything hanging over me to say that I can't be honest. Listen, the industry is two-sided. It's two-faced, the industry. When Microsoft, well, listen, and this is, I don't want to go down this path, Rand, so I'm just going to make it brief and then we're going to get into my next topic. But last year, Sony acquired 5 studios, and everyone, including myself, was like, that's awesome. Every one of these studios make PlayStation better because of this, right? Specifically, bringing games to PC. That studio is masterful at it. So I was, of course, I was championing this. I was like, this is great. This is great for Sony because I'm a Sony fan. I have more PlayStation shit here in the house than most of these fanboys that are allowed, right? And that's a fact. That's not even a suggestion. This year they bought Bungie, and I mean, listen, it's a big get for them, and I champion this because I think that what Bungie and their knowledge on how to bring gas games to PlayStation is immeasurable. So it's going to be great for everyone. So that's 6 studios. But anytime Microsoft does anything, there's always an uproar. You always, I'm not calling out particular people because we don't do that on this program. There are certain sites that get into their feelings, as the kids are saying, and they'll go and they'll point the finger. How dare you, Xbox? You're ruining the industry, this, that, and the third. And look, if you want to believe that this whole industry is cutting straight, then good for you that you believe that. I have a bridge to sell you. I'm telling you right now, there's a double standard that's going on, that has been going on, and will continue to go on until Microsoft becomes so big and takes over the industry in such a way that they're no longer going to be able to say these ridiculous things at these ridiculous sites because they're going to have to play fair. And that's because, like I said, everyone sides with PlayStation, and PlayStation can do no wrong because they're the market leader. But I think that we're going to see a seismic change. But again, I don't want to just go down this path, Rand. We only have you for about another 40 minutes, so I kind of want to really get into the next topic. Look, we talked about numbers, right? We talked about what Elden Ring is doing. Now, last year, we had heard Miles Dompier, who, by the way, is going to be a guest next week, right here where Randall Thor is sitting. He's going to sit down with me for about an hour and 15 minutes. And we're going to get into some I'm literally writing that show right now because of some of the things that he said recently. It's going to be a great conversation. Comicbook.com threw him under the bus and basically said that he had made mention that Microsoft had teamed up with a Bandai Namco, and more specifically From Software, to bring an Xbox exclusive space game of all things that was going to be Souls-like. That's false. That's not, in fact, that's not happening. I wish it was, because that would be kind of dope. But Rand, I gotta get your opinion on this. Look, if by some chance this game sells 10 million copies in a month, that's going to be great for Bandai Namco. It's going to be great for, of course, From Software, and it's going to be great for gamers because we have it's early in the year. We're only in month number 3, and this is one of the biggest and best games to release so far, at least in my opinion. In your opinion, a lot of people are going to disagree, and that's fine. My question to you, Rand, is, look, Game Pass is the greatest thing since sliced bread. We all know that. But there are holes. There are holes in the chinks in the armor, if you will. They don't have family-friendly platformers. I'm still calling on Banjo-Kazooie. Hate me if you want, but I'm not giving up on this. I want my Banjo-Kazooie. They don't have any fighters. And if the rumors are true, Street Fighter 6 is going to be exclusive. Street Fighter is going to be exclusive again. And I think that's going to be crummy. I don't want to play it on a PlayStation, but I will because I have no choice, right? I don't have a PC, so I wouldn't play it there. I'd play it on my PlayStation 5. So we know that Killer Instinct is potentially being worked on. There was some commentary from Ed Boon himself, where he said that he is working on a game that's not that's not MK12 or Injustice 3, and it's unlike anything they've done before. I think that it's Killer Instinct reboot, but that's just my opinion. But the other genre that they don't have, Rand, is a Dark Souls type of game. And I think that something of this nature, with the incredible following, would bring so many new people, not only to Xbox, but to Xbox Game Pass, which is what they want to do. They want to sell you the service. They want you to come in for $15 a month or $10 or $15 a month. Do you think Phil, Matt, Aaron, Sarabon, do you think any of them see this and say, you know something, maybe we should drop the bag over at From Software? Because I'm telling you right now, Bloodborne is, and again, I'm going to play that. I'm actually, after playing this, Rand, you're going to be proud of me. I'm going back to Sekiro, which I only put an hour in. I was like, yep, this is not for me. I'm going back to Sekiro, and I'm going back to Bloodborne. You know that Sony sees what's going on with this and says, if we can get a Bloodborne 2, everyone's going to go bananas, right? My question to you simply is, should Microsoft try and do something with From Software and as an exclusive?
I mean, should they? Yeah, sure. Why not? Like, considering the hype that a new From Software Souls-like game gets. Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, Xbox would, come to From Software after Elden Ring was finished or about to be finished and be like, hey, how would you like to come make a game for us? We put it on Game Pass and we'll pay you a whole bunch of money. But the world's not perfect, right? So
right. I mean, again, it's just again, just for purely for conversational purposes. I just think that when you look at how well this game is doing, and specifically how well that genre, because I don't think the genre is going to be niche anymore, Rand. I think this is going to bring in new players that are maybe, they might get frustrated because you do get your teeth kicked in. I've died 200 times in my 25 hours, and I've never been like, I'm not coming back to this. F this game. No, it's never happened for me, but it does happen to some people. But when you look at Game Pass, the one thing that's wonderful about it is that the wide plethora of choice is massive. They have games of every ilk there. This is one of the genres that is not, and a From Software game would be monster.
No, yeah, it definitely would be. It definitely would be. But I mean, who knows what the future holds? We don't know what they're doing. I think they're making an Armored Core game after this. There's rumors that maybe their next game is a PlayStation exclusive. Who knows what they're doing? Like, the thing is, it's like very much like Bungie kind of was the studio that had all the negotiating power. Like, yeah, you could buy us, but the thing that we want is we want our independence. And that was kind of like a stickler, is like when you're in negotiations with From Software now, like, they're the ones who have all the cards now, right? Simply because look how big Elden Ring is. You're talking about a game that's going to dwarf the sales of all their others. So now they're in that negotiation, like, yeah, look how big we are now. Now it's going to cost you more. Part of me wonders, like, maybe they just really like their relationship with Bandai Namco, right? Like, Bandai Namco publishes all their games outside of Sekiro and Bloodborne, and maybe they just feel really comfortable with it. Like, Bandai lets them do whatever. Here's all the money because we know we're going to make it back. I do wonder what would it come down to if there was like a bidding war for the next From Software game between Bandai, PlayStation, and Xbox. How much money From Software could essentially get from somebody to make one of their next games exclusive. Because, I mean, imagine if Elden Ring was a PlayStation exclusive or an Xbox
it would
exclusive.
It could be crazy. It'd be just like Bloodborne.
It would be insane. But maybe that's a good thing that it isn't, because it wouldn't have been as big as it is. Like, I don't know. It's something to think about, but I mean, I don't know. Like you could, I don't know. I could see this going anyway. Like, um, there's also people asking for PlayStation or Xbox to buy from software, right?
Yep.
From I believe they're owned by a group that begins with a K. It's like Katawaska or something. That's their parent company, who I think Sony is invested in. Like I think they own like 5% of that company or something like that. So, um, personally, I hope From Software remains multi-platform because I'd rather see their games everywhere instead of being limited. Especially, I mean, like you mentioned before, 5 million sales on PC. If you go PlayStation exclusive, you lose that.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting to see what happens moving forward. Much like what you said about Capcom, Street Fighter 6 maybe not coming to Xbox as a huge blow. You know, could you imagine what a blow it would be if, like, here's Elden Ring and how well it's doing on Xbox, and then the next From Software game just is a PlayStation exclusive? Like that would definitely, take wind out a lot of sales for a lot of people who maybe discovered From's games for the first time because of this. And maybe that's a smart move by whoever gets their next game because, you have all these people being like, well, now I need to get a PlayStation to play, the next game or whatever. But I guess we'll just have to wait and find out whenever they do announce their next game. So
No, I mean that's listen. It's going to be interesting. I think they're going to be. I think that there's DLC coming for this, which wouldn't surprise me. Was there DLC for Sekiro? Because I don't really know.
no, there was an update for Sekiro that added some things like
Okay.
boss rushes, but there wasn't any paid DLC. And it's interesting because Activision was the one who published
That is
Sekiro.
surprising.
So I wonder if that means Microsoft now owns the publishing rights to Sekiro because Sekiro is owned From Software owns the Sekiro IP. So I wonder when the Activision if and when the Activision deal goes through, if we could see Sekiro come to Game Pass, because if Microsoft has the publishing rights to it, maybe they're able to put that game up on Game Pass, which would be
That
really
would be
cool.
huge, dude. I own the game, so again. I just have I bought it. I actually bought the collector's edition, as a matter of fact, and I just didn't have the patience. But I think after playing this Elden Ring for so long, I think I finally figured out what makes Souls gamers tick, and I'm starting to fall in line with that. And I'm again, it is brutal, and it will challenge your patience. Like you just saw that giant that I just came across. Usually, when I come across a boss that big, Rand, I'm dead 5-10 times. That was my first time running across him, and I beat him. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. But I like what you're putting down. I mean, listen, I think that what this does for From Software specifically is, and I think you're right. I think they enjoy the relationship they have with Bandai Namco because they put out, they publish the game and they pay for the development of it, and it's a great working relationship. But Bandai Namco is one of those those publishers that were talked about potentially being purchased at some point or acquired by somebody. There was rumor that it was going to be Sony. Just like the Capcom rumor has come out, just like the Square Enix rumor has come out, and we and apparently, and again, I've talked to several people. Apparently, next month, or well, this month now, there's supposed to be some big Sony news in regards to them announcing an acquisition. I don't know how true that is, but we'll find out by I guess mid-month is when it's supposed to drop. But Rand, I do want to move on to the exclusive conversation and how Xbox is making their exclusives, even though they're available on multiple platforms like PC, like Xbox. But you can play these exclusive anyway. You can play them on your phone, you can play them on your refrigerator, you can play them on your computer, wherever. We heard last week that 2020 Call of Duty 2023 is done. That game that has been shelved. Now, We don't know if that's the Microsoft effect, right? A lot of people say it can't be because, right, they don't own the company yet. That deal has not gone down, so we can't say for sure. But I'm actually happy because that's going to move some of these development houses out of development hell, which they've been in for years with having to. I mean, Toys for Bob, they were great platform makers, and they were subjected to, oh, you have to now make Call of Duty. And I can't wait to see what all of these other studios decide that they do. But I want to talk about the money hatting that's going on versus what Microsoft is doing. Again, bringing up Street Fighter 6, there are a lot of people that were vexed over this last week. And again, it's Capcom didn't say otherwise, which 50% of the people say, well, they didn't announce a platform, so they're just making the announcement. A lot of people, the other half of the coin, they say, well, that's pretty much that's saying to me, not so much to me, but to people that are talking, that Street Fighter is going to be exclusive. Now, if you didn't know, when that deal was made originally for Street Fighter V, Capcom was on the ropes. They were, in 2016, they were on the ropes, folks, almost required to file Chapter 11, which is basically going out of business. And that would have been devastating. And in 2017, they turned it around with Resident 7, and it has been all roses, Rand, since then. What are your thoughts on Microsoft potentially making, and again, I know you talked about this on your show several times, but I want to talk about it here. Call of Duty 2024, when the next Call of Duty is going to come out, the single player aspect. Do you think that Microsoft is going to start locking a lot of these Activision games as exclusives to PC and Xbox?
Call of Duty, no. I think Call of Duty. I think Call of Duty is going to be multi-platform for the foreseeable future. I tend to believe Phil and Microsoft when they talk about putting Call of Duty and keeping it on PlayStation. I don't think they're. I know some people like to think like and hope that they're just smoke screening it, right? And like once the deal goes through, Phil Spencer's gonna laugh at everybody and say, "Ha, we fooled you. Call of Duty's really exclusive." I just think with how the Department of Justice and the FTC are looking to crack down on mergers and acquisitions, especially on the tech side, I think Microsoft wants this deal to go through badly.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty is going to be the sacrificial lamb. Like they're going to be like, listen, we understand you have concerns about competition and all that stuff, sort of stuff. We're going to keep Call of Duty multi-platform, and depending on when the deal goes through, I think Overwatch 2 will be multi-platform. It makes sense because it's a multiplayer game, to be realistic. Maybe there's a chance Diablo 4 is exclusive. I do think anything new from them, like a new IP or whatever, would be Xbox exclusive. Whether because they're going to move Call of Duty from yearly to every other year, maybe you're, like Raven or Beanox or High Moon Studios can actually make a new game. I think those would be exclusive. I know you weren't the biggest fan of Pactor's prediction that basically the government's going to force them to put everything on PlayStation. I think Xbox is going to, I think most of those games would be exclusive. It's just, I think Call of Duty is just kind of, it's just one of those things where they need the deal to go through, and I think they're just going to use it as a multi-platform to grease the wheels to make sure that like nobody at the FTC thinks that this is potentially bad for competition, right? So, we're in a better position than we were, just when you started your YouTube channel, right? Like you started in 2017, I believe it was, right?
Yes. Yep.
Remember 2017 was the year of, hey, we got 2 exclusives this year, and it's Halo Wars 2 and Super Lucky's Tale.
I beat Super Lucky's Tale twice. I'm just saying.
Right, but I mean, the point was there wasn't anything, and 2019 wasn't much better with Crackdown 3, even though Gears 5 came out that year and it was really good. We all asked Xbox to do better. We all asked Xbox to be like, hey, get more games. They went out there and they did acquisition spree. You went from 5 studios to like 34 right now. So, even though like Call of Duty might remain multi-platform, I still think they basically given us everything that we asked for, and I still don't think they're done buying studios. Maybe they won't buy any more this year because they don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah.
But I still think Interactive, Crystal Dynamics, Avalanche, and who knows, a whole bunch of other studios are probably, they're just waiting to see, like, okay, how's IO doing on Project Dragon? How's Crystal Dynamics doing on Perfect Dark? If everything seems good, we'll end up purchasing them. So
Yeah.
this isn't the end. This is still kind of the beginning, so to speak. And we saw those reports. Like, this all happened super fast. Like, it happened like November. It started, and basically they acquired them in January. So like, it's just kind of was just like, hey, we need to jump on this, and it happened. So right.
Yeah, you know what? I think and you're 100% right. It did happen super quick, and we've had this conversation on Primetime Gaming. We wondered whether or not this deal with to purchase Activision Blizzard kind of threw a monkey wrench into into what they were eventually going to do. Like I like you. I think IO is going to be a first party studio. I think Crystal Dynamics is going to be first. Avalanche is another one. They're all working with them. What's the team, Rand, that brought us Guardians of the Galaxy?
Eidos Montreal.
Eidos Montreal. Now I've always said this, and listen, you've seen the way Square Enix throws their developments, especially the West, under the bus, where every game that comes out, it never hits their expectations. I saw a list that the Everborn Saga put out, and it's pretty stout that every game was big. Like, they sold millions and millions of copies. They never hit their expectations. I don't know if their expectations are skewed or not. But do you think there's a world, Rand, where Microsoft turns around in their next group of acquisitions and gets Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, and potentially brings Tomb Raider as an exclusive?
I think if Microsoft ends up buying Crystal Dynamics from Square, which is what I thought when they announced the partnership with Crystal Dynamics for Perfect Dark, my initial reaction was like, okay, they're gonna end up buying them from Square, right? Because I don't think Square knows what to do with them anymore, because I think Marvel Avengers really flopped badly, and
it wasn't a good game. It was a pretty bad. I mean,
it was half a good game. It was half a good game.
The single player aspect was fantastic,
but clearly they had their eyes were like set. They wanted way more than what the game gave them, right? So I think the fact that they were available to work on Perfect Dark speaks volumes, because Square was like, yeah, it's worth more to us for you to work on Xbox's game than for you to work on something for us.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
It's weird. So I do feel that and I don't know how this whole Activision thing may throw a cog in it, because there's also the possibility, like, what if Sony comes in and buys Square Enix this year? Well, then it's like, well, Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal will go with PlayStation. But imagine, hypothetically speaking, they don't. I do think if Xbox buys Crystal Dynamics, I think they would also try to get the Tomb Raider IP from Square.
Yeah, it makes sense, because wasn't Gallagher a part of that?
Yeah. And I think one of their other teams is working on a new Tomb Raider, so I think it would make sense. And maybe also it's like, hey, while you're at it, we'll also buy Eidos Montreal. We'll just buy your entire Western division. But we'll have to wait and see, because with them buying Activision Blizzard, and I think they're not going to purchase anybody until that deal goes through.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance Sony ends up coming in and buying somebody like Square Enix, and that's the case. Well, then you lose you lose those, but then it's like, well, they probably thought the Activision Blizzard thing was too good an opportunity to pass up, and oh well, you lost Crystal Dynamics. Yeah, I mean,
Unless that deal was done, Rand. You know, what
I don't think it's done. They're both public. They're both public entities. Like Square Enix would have to report that they sold, Crystal Dynamics to Xbox to Microsoft, and Microsoft would have to report that.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. I'm not saying that the deal is actually signed paperwork. What actually I should have rephrased the statement. What if the handshake deal is Microsoft? Phil Spencer or even Satya Nadella sat down and had a conversation with the head of Square Enix and say, yeah, listen, this is what we want to do. And they have an understanding that, they're working on it. The contract is being written up as we speak. There are a lot of people, and again, this is, because I had asked Hogue Law this question. He was on Breakfast with Boom a couple of weeks ago. Could Microsoft essentially, even with this deal in the wings, could they buy not another publisher, because that would obviously cause problems? Could they buy some developers? And he believed that they could. Now, he's not saying that they will or they should, but I think that if there was a chance that they were going to lose Crystal D and potentially Eidos Montreal, I think they go and they get that deal done, because you're not. I don't think adding some developers to Microsoft Game Studios would hurt the Activision deal. That's just my opinion. You think it would?
I think you don't know in this climate.
Yeah, it's true. It is a very.
You look at the ARM deal that kind of didn't go through. There's even some talk that the government might block the Amazon MGM merger as well, that I was seeing online. So it's just kind of a different space we're in compared to a couple years ago, where this deal would have went through no problem. I mean, hell, if the Disney Fox thing happened now, I don't think the Disney Fox thing happens.
Wow.
I think that gets blocked. So I think Xbox. I mean, you're right. I mean, you're right. Hogue's right. Like, maybe them buying Crystal Dynamics or Eidos Montreal or IO Interactive is small enough where it doesn't set off any waves. But you don't want the idea of Xbox being a monopoly or whatever in these lawmakers' heads when they're reviewing Activision Blizzard and be like, well, they also just bought this, and this. Like, I don't know. I get what you're saying. And you may be right, but I feel like Xbox is going to be very quiet, and they're just going to like hold their breath until the deal actually finalizes before they move on to something else. But maybe if they do feel threatened, like Sony is sniffing around Square Enix and they're about to buy them, maybe they have something in their contract with Crystal Dynamics working on Perfect Dark where they get like, hey, we can come in and offer something for Crystal Dynamics before you sell. I don't really know any of that stuff, but I don't know. It's just it's something to think about. But personally, I feel that Xbox is just going to wait. Yeah. That because I think we didn't talk about it, but it's been out there that if the deal doesn't go through, Xbox owes Activision $3 billion for nothing. Nothing. Just here's $3 billion for wasting your time. So clearly they want it done. Satya was like that, reading what happened. It was like, Phil's like, hey, you want to talk about buying? Are you open to a call with Satya? And everybody at Xbox and Microsoft wanted that to happen. They get King, which is a mobile publisher, which Xbox has no presence on mobile. You get Blizzard, who has, with
PC.
His sources, like, he thinks Blizzard is going to be back on the rise again, and that's the PC stuff. And it's like, it's they get so many things that they don't want this deal to disappear, and so I think they'll do whatever it takes, and if that means not buying anybody out in the meantime and keeping Call of Duty multi-platform, then that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. There are people saying that you're botting. You're just botting a little bit, but it's fine.
Let me reset my mic.
Okay. Hope
Is
you.
that any better?
It's still a little body. You know, if you want to jump out and jump back in,
All right,
that usually fixes it. Listen, as Rand jumps out and jumps back in, he'll be in momentarily. He's doing the share for it. I want to thank everyone that's here, folks. We got almost 450 people here, which is amazing. Obviously, the graphics that you see in front of you says Xbox 101. That was the old program. Xbox Live is X Vlog Live is the new program. This is episode 2. Yeah, his Rand is back. Let's get him in here. Rand, how you sound now, Rand?
Yeah, I haven't had the whole thing with the botting in a while. I don't know. Is it?
No, you sound good. You sound much better. Yeah, listen. Listen. We only got a few minutes left before we get you out of here. Again, this is really a 60 to 70 minute program. You're going to see. Look at this bugbear that is just destroying me. I did not beat him yet. I got to figure out where to find that group of soldiers you can summon, because I can't do the wolves down here for some reason. I guess maybe because it's in the cave. This guy's ridiculous. I did get him down to half and almost a quarter left of health on the second go around, and of course we had to start the show, so I'm gonna play right after this. Yeah, listen, Rand, great opinions as always. Obviously, love what you've been doing on the Xbox 2 with your buddy Jez Corton, who was a guest last week, and he killed it there. A big thank you. Is there going to be an Xbox 2 this week?
Yeah, there should be. Probably tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have to wait and see what my schedule looks like tomorrow, what Jez's look like. But yeah, there definitely should be one this week. Whether it's tomorrow, or it'll probably be tomorrow for sure.
Yeah. Well, definitely looking forward to that. Again, big fan of what you do. Thank you again for being here. I want you to sell your brand, brother, because not that you need it, but I want to push for 100K because we want to get you on camera. Yes. So by all means, if there's someone of the 420 people already still here that don't know who Randall Thor is, which, man, what rock have you been living under? Tell everyone where they could reach out to you on social media, strike up a conversation, and more importantly, check out your incredible YouTube channel.
Well, thanks for having me, Boom, and if you're still here watching, be sure to hit the like button, because you didn't say that at one time, Boom.
You know what, dude? I get scolded all the time. King David scolds me all the like button. Time.
Gotta hit the like button for Boom. Over 400 people live at noon on a Thursday. Today's Thursday. Yes, today's Thursday. So yeah, if you haven't seen my YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/RandallThor19, where we do the podcast with Jez every week, normally Fridays, sometimes Saturdays. Sorry, guys. And, normally I would release, I've been trying to release at least 2 videos a week. Last couple weeks haven't really been in the mood to, and there really hasn't been much to talk about. So kind of been focusing on other things. But when now that it's March, it's a new month, so yeah, there'll be hopefully I can put out some new videos talking about some new things. But yeah, thanks for having me, Boom. It's always a pleasure to talk with you and your incredible audience.
Thank you, sir.
So we'll have to do this again sometime in the future.
Yes.
Maybe I can be on one of your other shows. Like,
yeah, dude.
Breakfast with Boom is a little too early for me.
How does primetime gaming
That's on
work
Friday.
For you? Yeah, prime time is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's
primetime gaming is good. Everborn's there, right? You got Keasante, Mag,
the Dutch,
who I always troll during the show. So yeah, just sometime in the future we can do primetime gaming.
Yeah, dude, I would love it, and I definitely appreciate that. That's one of 4 shows that I do weekly. Again, this is my life, folks. I play games. I do the laundry and clean the house while Mrs. Boom is working, and I do 4 live podcasts. So, Rand, again, brother, thank you so much for being here. Honestly, dude, I love what you do with the community and how you interact with us and how real you are in every show that you are, whether you're hosting or you're guesting. And of course, I want to thank everyone that tuned in today. We had over 450 people here, which is awesome. This is episode 2 of X Vlog. Next week we have, and I'll give you the schedule for the next couple of weeks. We have next week is going to be Miles Dompierre of Windows Central Gaming. On the 17th, we're going to have King David. That's right, King David from the Iron Lords podcast. And I'm almost certain that the 24th is going to be Jeffrey Grub I mean, who doesn't know the man with the best hair in the business? I'm trying to confirm the 24th for Grub. He's been super busy. But listen, Rand, again, thank you, and a big shout out to all the super chats that came in. If I missed them, because one-on-one is hard to look at the super chats. I will shout you out in the show tomorrow morning. I'll be able to go to YouTube and see them. But of course, I'll close out the show with something that is important to me, folks. Hopefully one day be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he said, son, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules. And I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of X Vlog Live.